Huge financial decisions made this week by CrossFit disguises games changes. Let's get into it. Hey, before we get started, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button as well as the notification bell. That way you don't miss any content coming out here on the channel. So CrossFit announced this week some huge games changes, which in my opinion were a PR effort designed to redirect the community away from the third-party investigation news they released a few days ago. By doing this, not only did they bury the lead, but I believe they tipped their hand toward what they really want to do next as a company strategy. So earlier this year in February, Don Fall was on my show, Kettlebells and Cocktails, and he talked about taking a significant amount of money out of sport. And I think many thought that what that meant was an immediate take back. And I think what you can see now from the games changes they released yesterday is this is really more of a season over season initiative and paints a much longer picture of what they're wanting to do. Today, what I want to discuss with you is the changes that they made, how they impact the financial side of the business. And I want you to stick around to the end because I think it's all leading to a much bigger goal that I want to talk about. Now, on the surface, the changes that they're making is taking the entirety of the competition season and they're streamlining it. They're taking a significant portion of it online, and in some areas, they're even outsourcing it in an effort to save expenses and reduce workload on the organization. And while that's a really good and smart financial decision, it will create a lot of discussion in the sport community, which will probably help them because it's going to distract a lot of people from the other issues going on within the business. The other thing that it's done that I think a lot of people are overlooking is that they canceled quarterfinals. And they've replaced that with what they're calling a community cup. So this community cup that they're launching happens after the 3-week open. It's going to last for 1 weekend, and you're going to compete against other athletes of a similar fitness level. Think of it like this. When you compete in the open, there will be a bell curve of how you finished. If you take a stack ranking of 1 through 10, 1 being the least fit, 10 being elite and the most fit, you'll get your open ranking and you'll be designed a number. So if you're ranked a 5, you'll compete in the community cup with other 5s. If you're ranked a 6, against other 6s, a 7, other 7s, so on and so forth. It keeps the scaled athletes from having to compete against the elite athletes. This is being pitched as a fun way for affiliates to drive community and competition and give people a chance to continue to compete, advance, and improve their fitness. All those things are true. It sounds fun to me. But the truth is, those are just the benefit of the event itself and not the reason the event is being created. The reason the Community Cup is being created is that it's designed to mitigate expected losses of enrollment in the open. Now, there has to be an expectation from CrossFit headquarters that there's going to be lower open enrollment this year for a couple of factors. The first one is you have a significant number of people that are pretty highly annoyed with how last year's season went and how the games wrapped it up. And so you're going to have a pretty decent number of people sitting it out or boycotting. I don't personally think that number is going to be gigantic, but it is notable that you will have people sitting out for that reason. The main reason why you're going to have lower enrollment is you simply have fewer affiliates year over year. The number of affiliates has certainly declined. And if you think back a couple of years, I think the number everyone was throwing around was 13,000 to 12,500. When you look at the affiliate map now, it probably says you have to scroll all the way out. But if you scroll all the way out, it sits somewhere between 10,000 to 10,800. So a couple of thousand less affiliates over the past couple of years. I've also heard those estimations from multiple sources. So assuming that it's all true, which I have no reason not to, you should assume maybe a 20 to 25% reduction in open enrollments year over year. That seems fair and equitable to me. So think back to 2024. You had a little over 344,000 people enrolled in the CrossFit Open, which was a year-over-year increase of about 6.7%. If you take that number of people times the $20 they charge to enroll, that's roughly about $6.9 million. For the sake of this discussion, let's call that $7 million and we'll just round it up just for the easy math. You then had 25% of those 344,000 people that were now eligible to compete in quarterfinals. At $50 a head, that's an additional $4.3 million that CrossFit could have possibly earned. Now, I know they didn't have all 86,000 people compete in quarterfinals, but we're really just looking at available dollars. Like the company is trying to figure out how much could we possibly earn if everyone wanted to do this. So if you take the $7 million for the Open and the $4.3 million for quarterfinals, that means they were somewhere between $11 to $11.3 million possible for them to earn between the Open and quarterfinals. Now, fast forward to 2025. They expect 20 to 25% fewer Open enrollments. Let's go with the larger number of 25%. That means you're going to have 258,000 people enroll in the Open, which means they should have potential dollars of about 5.2 million. Now, that's 2 million less year over year. However, now everyone qualifies for the Community Cup. That means you have an additional 258,000 people eligible to compete in the Community Cup. Now, let's just assume for a second they decide not to charge $50 a head for that. They want to charge $40 a head for that. At $40 a head, that's an additional $10.3 million available for them to earn, which brings their total to $15.5 million. That's an increase potentially year over year in $4 million of eligible dollars. If only half of the people compete in the Community Cup, they will absolutely earn more money through the Open year over year. So basically what they've done is they've built in this buffer to eliminate any financial loss and drop-offs while reducing expenses and putting 100% of the ownership and hardship, by the way, back on the affiliates. Now, it should be noted that on yesterday's affiliate town hall, Dave Castro announced that the Open is going to fund prize money and that a large amount of that money will be worked back into affiliates in the Open. Now, this part was pretty vague, probably intentionally vague, and it appears as if they haven't worked out the details yet. But this is something affiliates have been asking for some time. So I would assume that this is going to be well received by affiliates, but we don't really have the full details yet. So more on that to come. I think when you put all of this together, though, it paints a picture of a much, much bigger plan. This entire game season is designed to be dependent on being driven by affiliates and partners, which puts less pressure both financially and from a workload capacity on CrossFit headquarters itself or the games team, however you want to view it. When you tie that together with the way it was announced, both in conjunction with the investigation news and the incompleteness or the vagueness of the information given to us, it tells me what I think their next step is. Here it is. The intention of private equity is to sell this business. We've all known that for some time. What they plan to do is make it more profitable and sellable by reducing the footprint of the business while increasing the overall profitability. The business world is called right sizing. In order to do that, they need to follow the same playbook in the future that you saw happen here this week. I would imagine sometime around the new year, you're going to see headquarters come forward with another significant affiliate fee increase. What that would do is drive off any of the perceived low-value affiliates while driving more revenue from the affiliates that are deeply invested and loyal to the brand. This will improve quality control in the affiliate model, and it allows future buyers to be more confident that they aren't buying a madhouse. They'll quickly follow that fee increase with the full details of the games news to again get everybody talking about sport and not what's happening on the business side. Now, I state this here often, all of this is speculation and opinion, and I could definitely be wrong on the timing, or maybe the timing could change due to outside economic influences or outside competition. But what I do believe we're seeing here this week is an indication of more big changes to come.